Now they want to change the constitution by amending that part in Bill 10 so that their sins are covered. And they want us to protect them. They want our MPs to sign for that covering of sins and crimes. It's not correct. They are arguing to the MPs, our MPs, NDC, Bill 10. The contents are by and large wrong. My brother has touched, save the sweeteners over women, over what. We can achieve that, as he has said. We don't need those sweeteners. We don't need to change parliament. MPs, please, don't be duped that this cannot be created. That can be done. So, therefore, on the account of the process which is wrong, which leaves the people, on account of the contents which are wrong, other than the sweeteners, that's a fact. Civil society, I'm talking of stable civil society. I'm not talking of those who talk up for pittance before the song is called out. Decent civil society have said no. Law Association of Zambia have said no. Us have said no. We are the majority. Therefore, we call upon our members of parliament, UPND members of parliament, the right-thinking independent, including PF members of parliament, be on the right side of history. Act on behalf of the people. Don't act for what we hear you are being offered. $1 million kwacha, gratuity before you earn it. You are offered your salary in advance up to 2021, end of parliament. That is poison, as my friend has said here, President Kambwili, that is poison. Don't complain when you die instantly. As black mamba poison. 15 minutes, get a bite from the black mamba, you're gone. That is poison. It may take more than 15 minutes, but you'll be gone. History is very clear. My colleagues from PF, where are those 23 MPs who objected to the late Sata's position, again on the Constitution? History repeats itself. You support your member of parliament, you support Bill 10, you must know that your end has come in terms of parliamentary service. You must know that. History never is wrong. So, that money, don't take it. Those VXs, don't take them. But if you are a weak one, something I don't like doing, I advise you to take it and vote against Bill 10, because that's your money. That's long found money. We know what he was in 2015 when he fasted. 2014, we know what he was. Where has he found money to give you? These crooks they are using with a sack of money around, where have they found the money? That's your money. That's money that should go to the youth to create jobs. It's going to buy MPs. It's going to buy councillors. So reject Bill 10, members of parliament. You will be on the right side of the people. The churches that you belong to, you'll be on the right side of history. That's our encouragement as an alliance. So lastly, we are saying, withdraw Bill 10. PF, withdraw Bill 10. Do what is sensible. Don't feel shy. Just withdraw it. Take it back to the people, the owners. And when you have done that, I want to believe we as an alliance here will be part of the process. We'll be part of the process for a Bill 10 that has been withdrawn, taken back to the people, and so it should be. And we will participate, isn't it? Yeah. My dear President. President Milopi is red. President Kambwili. Yes. My dear Luku, won't we participate?
No, certainly do.
Because it will be the right process. We end by that message. You can fool some people sometime. You can't fool all the people all the time. That's an English adage. I'm not a constructor of the English language. I'm just using it to communicate. On behalf of my colleagues, I want to thank the presidents that are here, last presidents, the messages you've delivered. And it's a combined message. It's a package. That's what we're saying on behalf of the people, many of whom are scared to speak because of the brutality of the PM. But we should stand up together as we've done to deliver independence, as we did to deliver multipartyism. Time is now to stand up together as a country in unity. And this alliance is available to increase numbers, to welcome others that would like to stand together with the people of Zambia in doing what is correct. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think the SG for ADG would like us to add 1 or 2 points to the statement that I'm going to deliver. Please, SG for ADG.
Thank you very much, Honorable Masai. When the presidents have already spoken, to be mindful when you're presenting your president. So I won't say a lot, I just have a few things to add. Ladies and gentlemen, I will say 2 things on Bill 10. It would seem that many Zambians do not realize the danger the country is facing. Bill 10 is the biggest threat Zambia has ever faced to our democracy since 1991. And I'll repeat, it's the biggest threat to our democracy since 1991. You do not need to go very far back in history to realize that in all countries where dictatorships were born, one of 2 things happens. The first one is the leaders start by ignoring law and order. They simply ignore. And in the last few years in Zambia, we already have had examples of the current regime simply ignoring the law. 2 things. The Constitution provided that prior to elections, ministers should step down and not stay in office. They simply ignored that and they stayed in office. When the Constitution ruled that they should pay back the money, like President Hakainde has already alluded to that, they simply ignored that, and they are still ignoring it. But because you and many other Zambians have been asking that they should obey what the Constitutional Court, they go to the second of the condition for dictatorship to thrive, which is they change the laws in order to legalize lawlessness. Now, when those 2 happen, you have a dictatorship firmly in charge. And by the time we will wake up as Zambians, we will realize that it has become legal for people to just come and pick you up from your house and tell you today this house is no longer yours because there is some piece of legislation they can point to and say this is actually allowed in the law. So we should not allow ourselves and we should not allow our leaders to play with the Constitution at the rate they are doing, as though we are playing ping pong. A Constitution is a very important document, and that's what I wanted to add on. This is it with the highest of, for the men and women that are the commissioners at ECZ. I must say I attended a meeting 2 days ago at Mulungush Conference Center called by ECZ to talk about these issues that they announced. And this is the second meeting I was attending. There was another one called some months ago at which ECZ again parties. It's incredibly worrying that ECZ appears to be going seriously off track. In fact, one is tempted to wonder what kind of thinking is actually going on at ECZ. And President Kambwili made a very passionate appeal to the people at ECZ. I think it's believe that inside themselves, they still have got the ability to know what is wrong and what's right. But so far they are exposing themselves to a situation where citizens are beginning to wonder whether it is arrogance, ignorance, or incompetence that's at play at ECZ. And I'm saying so because in their presentations so far, including 2 days ago, they are not making any sense. For example, the fees. When they were asked, how did they come up with the figures they are proposing? The Chief Electoral Commissioner says, oh, the prices of things has gone up, and when we checked inflation, it is 17%. Now, if you just use that 17% and say, okay, so things have gone up by 17%, that 17% to the 2016 figures, and tell us how the 17% took you to the 150,000 from 60,000. I don't know whether they are using calculators manufactured at ECZ, or they are just unable to do simple multiplication. The other reason they gave was, oh, the cost of printing has gone up because we give presidential candidates an entire voters roll for free. In 2021, somebody is talking about, we are going to be giving you a hard copy. Who wants a hard copy if it's available online? So if they want to charge those astronomical figures, because presidential candidates, because apparently they are the only ones that ECZ in their own volition decide they want to give free copies to, they should leave them online. Presidential candidates will decide how to access them and print them. We don't need ECZ to give hard copies. But more importantly, let's go back to what ECZ is supposed to be doing. ECZ's mandate is to preside over a free and fair elections. I want us to pay attention to these two terms. Free and fair elections. Those two terms are not in that statement by accident. Briefly go back in history. When governance systems were just being developed, it was common in some jurisdictions that to be a voter, you needed to be a property owner. All right? And to qualify as a candidate in an election, you needed also to be a property owner. So if you do not own land, for example, you would not qualify to vote. This is in the 1800s. Systems were just being developed. And the world has moved so far, which is how the free and fair elections, as far as democracy is concerned, was called, that every individual who wants to participate should have the opportunity to participate either as a candidate or as a voter. Now, if ECZ is allowed to continue on the path that they are taking, they have been testing the waters. They decided in 2016, those of you who were actively following the events of 2016, you remember the confusion that happened in 2016, where ECZ woke up, announced some figures. Within 20 minutes, they reduced the figures. Some people even went and paid the fees, and then more complaints came through, and ECZ reduced the figures again further. They were testing the waters. If in 2016, Zambians had taken a very strong stance against ECZ, that look, we're not going to tolerate this kind of shenanigans, they would not be playing the games they're trying to play now. So this time they have come around and they are throwing figures around. And in the meeting on Tuesday, again testing the waters, Judge Chulu said, all right, since you as political parties are not happy with these figures, we are asking you to go and come back with the counter proposals of the figures. And then he says, but the best should be 2016 figures. And personally, I said, we cannot even entertain this conversation about figures because, for starters, the mantle of free and fair elections is completely being missed by ECZ. So it is our appeal that ECZ should not be allowed to damage our democracy by putting our democracy for sale. This is exactly how countries have ended up in criminal hands, where you restrict access to governance by tying it to access to resources.
Okay.
And in a country like ours, where lawlessness now is basically reigning supreme, there is a lot of looting going on, and every day you wake up, just when you are trying to recover from one scandal, another one has arisen. We just don't know where this is going to stop. But the biggest danger it presents is, as access to participating in elections is tied to resources, those criminal elements are the ones that will be able to sponsor fellow criminals to participate in elections. And what will happen is every single law in the country is going to change in order to legalize stealing. Already we have laws that are practically legalizing stealing. When you talk about corruption, they tell you, oh, in the procurement of fire tenders, people from the Anti-Corruption Commission were also sitting on those in the tender committees. My goodness, where in the world do you have people that are supposed to come and investigate participating in the process? Will they therefore be able to investigate themselves? No, they cannot do that. So on these issues, it's very important that Zambians open up their eyes. But let me conclude with the issue of prisoners voting, which the president didn't touch on. The ECZ has already announced that prisoners will be allowed to vote. And their claim is that because there is a court judgment to that effect. When did that court judgment take place? A while ago. As we speak, ECZ has been organizing by-elections. And they are saying they are bound by that court judgment, but they are not abiding by it in the by-elections. Beyond that, when they were asked to say, why are you insisting that voters are going to, prisoners are going to vote, yet we have got legislative restrictions? If you look at the Prisoners Act, Chapter 97 of the laws of Zambia, a prison is not a place where political parties can walk in and out in order to. ECZ's response is there is a committee that will put in place to look at that. What kind of logic is that, where you announce the result and let you say, I have now asked some people to look at the modalities. They didn't even have a skeleton of how that's going to work. All they said is there's a committee. That's why I'm saying maybe there's a lot of ignorance now, or that's actually being displayed at ECZ. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, and through you, the one election, somebody says is going to be the mother of all elections. But it seemingly looks, it might as well be accompanied by the mother of confusion. Is going to be allowed to continue on the path they are taking the nation. I'm sure we'll deal with the other issues maybe as you will be asking questions. So thank you very much, and I hope you and the rest of them and stop this madness that is taking root in the country. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. We have come to the end of the first part of our press briefing. We're now going to the second part, and that is questions from the members of the press. So, who's going to be the first one? Any questions? Oh, you're all happy and it's clear? We can learn to finish a press briefing without questions if everything is good. I think.
Let me just, in conclusion, say one thing.
Yes, Mr. President Kambwili. Yeah.
Please, President Galumu, please, MPs, please, Cabinet, I appeal to you in the name of the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. For once, listen to the cries of the people. It does not pay to display arrogance, even when you know that you do not help. If not well handled, this issue of Bill 10 can bring tension in the country. Please withdraw the bill. All we are saying, bring it back to the forum where the church has to chair. We agree to disagree, so that whatever will go to Parliament is something that has been agreed by all stakeholders. For you, the women, they want to use by saying 50% of women and children and youths, we appeal to you and we want to assure you that we are not against 50% representation of women and youth. That even without Bill 10.